Hello, everybody. It's the Fearful Tower with your host, or should that be Ghost, Oliver G.
Who apparently needs a glass of water.
Yeah. Oh, hello everyone. My name's Oliver. This is the Earful Tower podcast. But this week, again, 2 weeks running, it's the Fearful Tower. Because Paris went crazy for Halloween, and I've decided I'm going to go all in. With me
is me.
My co-ghost.
Yeah.
What's your
Very good.
Name?
Very good. I like that. The co-ghost goes by the name of Lina Norton G, a.k.a. your wife.
Is that it? I did that intro and you're just Lina Norton G, a.k.a. my wife?
I already had my water.
What about Lina Norton G, Hoste?
Ghost.
Lina, oh gosh, we're losing him. Everybody, stay, because we are about to share with you a very frightening story of when we went to solve a Paris murder mystery.
Or failed,
yes.
Perhaps.
I was going to say, or at least tried, but we almost
disclaimer.
didn't really try. So that's the episode. Hang around at the end because I'm going to try and flip the switch and get it back to the cheerful tower. We got some funny stories to tell you and some big news that I'm going to tease. And it looks to me like we've got some Gmail from Central France. Mm-hmm. I wonder what's going on there, Lina.
Yes, I do wonder.
Let's get into the jingle.
Okie dokie.
So, Lina, what did we do the other day? And why did we
fateful Friday.
That fateful fail of a Friday.
The fateful fail of a Friday. Okay, so what we did is that, well, do you want to introduce it? The idea?
We can rewind many years the last time you surprised me with
yes,
something.
I have an interesting track record.
I don't know if we've told this story.
I think we might have.
Okay, so
I'm not sure.
Like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago, Lina and I used to surprise each other. We don't really do it so much anymore.
I guess it's been lockdown, you know.
Oh, yeah, true.
Can't really do anything.
So we used to just...
But we're back.
Oh, God.
With a bang.
We used to surprise each other with little... Like, sometimes it could be really little. You had to... The only thing... The rule was you had to make a reservation or something.
Yeah.
You couldn't just go...
You can't just wing it.
No, you can't
completely.
wing it. And you can't go, oh, we're going to try this restaurant. You have to go, I've got a reservation tonight at 7:30. Wear something nice. And then you go to a restaurant or a theater or whatever, as long as it was a surprise for the other person.
Exactly.
And it was really fun. And often we did it on a pretty small scale. And then one day, you surprised me with tickets to the Lapin Agile
Cabaret.
Can you use the word cabaret?
I don't know. I feel like I saw the word cabaret somewhere,
Yeah.
and in my head, cabaret means can dancers, you know.
Flesh.
Woohoo!
Flesh, but not the Halloween scary flesh. But it was none of the above.
None of the above. No.
For you guys who've never heard of it, it's an old, like Picasso used to go there.
Yeah.
It's essentially a bar where you pay a ticket to get in, an expensive ticket, I think.
I think at the time it felt expensive, and it's more like, you know, can you just imagine the disappointment, the heart-sinking feeling when you were expecting feathers,
Yeah.
but what you get is like some old fuddy-duddies sitting around a
with feather in
table
his cap.
with a feather in his cap, like singing or mumbling like drunken songs, French
to paint the
songs
scene
for 3 hours.
Longer. We left after 3 hours.
4.
And
I don't even know.
We have to be careful because we went when our French was really terrible and we didn't know the French music that we know and appreciate now.
It might be really good.
I was wondering.
I kind of think we should
Yeah.
go again.
But to
anyways,
paint the picture for you guys though, we arrive and Lane's like, "Got your tickets to the Lapin Agile." I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And she goes, "You sir are in for a great night." And she like kicked down the door and she's going, "Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da." And some old guy goes, "Bienvenue au Lapin Agile." And then they sit.
That's like, out of my way, drunkie.
Then they sit at the table and they're singing these old folk songs or whatever. I imagine it's the equivalent of like Woody Guthrie in America, like before Bob Dylan kind of songs, like national anthem kind of songs,
Yeah.
about the hardships and whatever. And the French people sing with them, and we were just like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, but like,
And you pretended to be pregnant to get out. Do you remember? You go, "Oh, we have to leave." They go, "You can never leave," and you're like, "I'm pregnant." And they go,
I
"Come
pulled the
back."
pregnant card.
So, and I'm sure there are people listening that that appreciate that for what it is. As
Oh,
we
I'm sure.
Didn't,
I'm
and they're
sure.
probably thinking we're crazy. And I'd like to go back and check it out.
Uncultured savages.
But at the time, it just wasn't for us. New to Paris, wanting to go out and have crazy nights. And it was the last surprise that either of us did for each other until last week.
I hung up my hat.
Yeah, only to be,
For years.
only to be pulled off the shelf again.
I know.
Last week, and Lina says,
With a bag
Lina
again.
says, "I've got a Halloween surprise for you, Oliver." I said, "This can't go wrong."
I've been working in the dark
What happened?
to pull this together.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was that I saw a very intriguing looking ad actually on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I decided to book 2 tickets.
Did the ad say murder mystery enquête immersive dans un hôtel particulier?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
cut it up.
that's the one.
5-star reviews. From
See?
385. We're not
Very cool.
This is as far from a sponsored post as you can get.
Oh
by the
no,
way.
I paid.
Yeah.
I paid
Yeah.
fully, full
So
price.
I want to know, before we explain what happened, what you knew going in.
I knew nothing. I saw a cool picture, their picture
What was the
of a
picture?
lady. It looks like from the sort of just after war era, so 50s dressed, and she looked like Dior, the new look. You can Google that at home.
Oh, yeah.
She looked exactly like that. Very chic lady, dressed in black and white, big full skirt, and little chic hat, and murder mystery. I was like, I'm in.
We should say you're a huge fan of Agatha Christie's work.
I am.
Enormous.
I am.
Yeah. Okay, so you're thinking Agatha Christie. You're thinking.
I'm like in Paris,
Okay.
in a hotel particulier,
So
which
that's
is like a
like
huge
I think
townhouse.
townhouse is the translation.
Yeah.
It's imagine, like in the Marais, those big doors that lead into the big.
Yeah, it's like the full house. You get, from the ground floor up to the attic, like the
some
whole
of
thing.
those museums in
Exactly.
the I guess it's the 8th.
Yeah.
9th maybe. Okay, so then.
So yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what could go wrong?
Right.
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
This is gold.
So then what happened?
So no, you tell me. So then what happened?
Well, then on the day of the event,
Oh,
Lina,
yeah,
Lina
I
was inspired
I did.
because we went for a walk, and I went to look for a mask or something in my pocket, and I found this, I found a handwritten note with a stamp on it that said,
Several stabs.
Yeah, it said
Yeah.
like as in an ink stamp, and it said it's like 8 p.m. and then an address on the 8th arrondissement, and it said bring someone you trust. And because we have fun doing this kind of stuff, I suspected it was Lina.
What?
It had her handwriting, and I resisted the urge to look up the place, and I resisted the urge to bring like a friend that I trust, because I assumed Lina wanted to come. And we went there, and as we arrived, there's there was a big sign there that said murder mystery, so I kind of knew what we were in for. And we walked in to this. So we're in the 8th arrondissement. I've got the address here, if anyone cares to check it out on the map or whatever. It's 9 Rue de l'Amiral d'Estaing in the 16th. It's in the 16th arrondissement, the chic, posh 16th arrondissement.
Yeah, it reflected it.
Yeah, so I was already intrigued, knowing there's this townhouse we're going to get in. And we walk in, they're checking tickets. Obviously, they're checking the sanitary, pass sanitaire, it's called, to make sure everyone's got their vaccinations or whatever. And maybe it's like 20 people going in there. And it was at this point, they handed us a complicated piece
Like
of
a
paper
form.
with instructions, yeah. And I turned to you and I was like, is this in French?
And I was like, yeah. I said with gleaming eyes.
Yeah. And of course it was in French, because we're in Paris, and of course, like, that can be expected. But it dawned on, I think, both of us very quickly that we were going to have to solve a murder in French by being a detective. And as we've said in recent episodes, we rated ourselves as, I think I said I was about 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't even know. I probably said I was
you said
chicken out of 10.
I think you said 6.
Okay.
And so we realized really quickly, before we even went in, that we were going to spend, 2 hours being detectives.
Like interrogating
at a very
people.
serious, fun but serious event.
I don't know. I'm not sure what I expected. I think in my mind it was more like, it's a play Which it was in a way.
Yeah.
It's like a play, and you follow them from room to room, and you get to like, maybe the detective is like, maybe it was you, and pointed at one of us, and we'd be like, oh no, monsieur.
So I think,
But it was a bit more than that.
because it was all in French and we didn't exactly thrive. I still think that everybody at home will enjoy hearing what was inside and the story. I don't think we can give away. I don't think we'll spoil. I mean, we won't spoil what happens in it, but you guys can feel, like, you guys can experience this idea, because it was very French and Parisian, especially in this old townhouse. I think you guys will like it, whether or not you pity us or sympathize with us for our colossal failure. But we went into this townhouse, this hôtel particulier. So they're not hotels, by the way, whenever you see that around France. It's just a building, right? We went in, this huge stack, beautiful
Wooden sweeping
wooden
staircase.
that went all the way to the top in the middle, and huge, like not like you could walk 6 people next to each other going up there.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah, more probably. And everyone sort of mills around the bottom, and all these actors come down dressed as if it was 1948.
You had your tweed suits with the silk cravats for the men with water-combed hair. You got the burgundy, blood red, beautiful draped kind of skirt suits for the ladies with chic little pillbox hats, and that sort of vibe. Yeah.
And so the actors all essentially ignore these 20 or 30 people that are down there, and they all just stand there waiting for everyone to come. And we're looking at the notes they give us on a pen, and and it's like a murder has been committed. Jean-Pierre, whatever, Dumont has been killed, and you have to find out which of the characters did it. And then all the characters are there with their sort of alibis and their relationship to each other
on the form.
On the form.
Yeah, it's like a short little sentence. It's
yeah. And they don't introduce them, so they wait, and you're looking at everyone, and you're ready to take notes, and then they start acting, and you're right there. It's really cool. This part was really cool. And they were like, oh, I can't believe my brother has died. And you're like, oh, he's the brother to the victim. So everyone's taking notes.
Scribble down quickly.
That must be, Stephen. Although they all have French names, obviously. Stéphane, maybe.
Oh, yes.
So people are taking notes, and they're doing this like elaborate argument, all the characters.
Yeah.
And then
I found it hard to keep them apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there were several men in the same sort of age.
Yeah.
And I mentioned tweed suits. They were all in tweed suits.
Yeah, true.
So I kept, in the beginning, I was like, this guy in the tweed suit. And then I was like,
Yeah, you were screwed from the very beginning, man, because it only got harder from there. The idea was the detective came down and spoke to the crowd, and he said, you guys can all interview the people. You can go around looking for clues on every floor of this beautiful apartment.
It was really cool, wasn't it?
And that was the really fun bit. And they made it clear, like, don't
bend up the floorboards, basically.
Yeah, because it was probably like a heritage building or something that they're letting everyone in.
But you can rifle through clothes, and you can look under cushions, and you can,
Funny you say rifle. Is that a clue? So here's where it got funny for us. When they said, in fact... I just remembered something that's really funny. Because Lena's my French is just a little bit better than Lena, so I already had the jump on her from the beginning. I forgot about this. The detective says, okay, 15 of you go this way, and the other 15 you go up the stairs. And I immediately understood that this was just to split us up so we didn't all charge up the steps at once. And after about an hour, Lena says to me, oh, we have to go and find with those other 15 people. It's like, they're all around us. They just took a different...
Like, what do you mean?
So these are the kind of things we're trying to figure out.
So I was struggling.
Yeah. But anyway, we go up, we see the corpse, and we sort of... Like, I think it's important to explain, even if you speak decent French, even if you can get by, with... sorting out admin, or if you can
you order perfectly in a restaurant,
those kind of things are super different where there's a really tangible goal, like, oh, my food is too cold, I need to get I talked about that in my book, maybe, that if you have a goal, set yourself a goal to get your food returned, or get your scooter serviced or whatever, there's the finish line. With this, there wasn't really a finish line because it was so It wasn't tangible
It was
at all.
so like abstract as
Yeah,
well.
really abstract. You had to solve a murder that never actually really happened by actors who were trying not to tell you what happened.
Exactly. They were allowed to
in
lie.
French. Yeah.
So that just added a whole other layer.
We had no chance from the beginning, but then we observed, because they were all like, observe everything. So first we went through, and like Lena said, we were rifling through diaries and stuff written in this like elaborate handwriting, and we read one diary like, the word cardiac comes up a lot. Cardiologist. Maybe it was a heart attack. We solved it. But we couldn't figure out the rest. We couldn't even figure out whose room it was, right? And then we were observing, we were watching all these people, and I think it would be really fun to do it in English. I think I'd be a very different person doing it in English. But we're watching these people become sort of actors themselves. So they'd go up to like the lady of the house and say, what motivation did you have to take a walk at 5 o'clock? And what was your relationship with your stepbrother? Those kind of things.
Exactly.
And we were like...
cardiologist.
Yeah. And we're like, what are we going to say that's going to solve a murder here? So essentially, we hardly talked to them at all.
We talked to a police at one point, trying to figure out what room we were in.
Looking for directions.
Literally.
To the toilet. And he was kind of like, look, it's going to be hard if your French isn't perfectly fluent, but observe. Just look around and you might find stuff. So,
and we took that literally.
Yeah.
Literal.
So we ended up, and because they'd done it really well, like there was an ashtray with one of the characters' identification cards and a swastika on it.
Yeah, it's like half burnt up, and so it was. There were clues everywhere.
Yeah, and we looked at that and we're like, aha, he was a Nazi. He did it. But what are you going to go and ask the guy, especially when he's being such a dramatic actor? He was like half pretending to be half drunk, sitting at the table, slamming it.
He was angry all the time.
Yeah, people were asking him questions. He was like, what do I care if...
Yeah, and would we go up and like, you were a Nazi
we
in
would
the
be
war?
like Borat talks English.
Yeah.
And it was not the right... We would have been up there and been like...
He would have been like, no, I wasn't. We'd be like, aha.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, sir.
Did you know the matter? No? Okay. So we sort of appreciated the building a lot. Really nice.
We were more like, I don't know if everyone's going to appreciate this, but more Clouseau than Poirot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
So we ended up collecting all the clues and drawing our conclusions from it. And then at the end, do we get to the end now? Is this...
Sure, why not?
Yeah, they all gathered. It was like the end of any detective TV show. Everyone gathered in the
salon.
Yeah, salon. Remember, everything's themed from just post-war Paris. So they've done it really well. Magazines on the counter and everything, which it was really cool. And then the detective asks everyone for their theories. It would have been fun to say something then.
Yeah.
But I wonder what people would have thought, like, what are they doing here?
Yeah, be like, oh, someone just wandered in.
Struggled, yeah. Just wandered in off the street. And then everyone presents their hypotheses. The detective says you're all wrong, and then they solve the murder, which is nothing you would ever have guessed, obviously.
Obviously, it was a big surprise.
And then...
especially since we thought it was the Nazi, and then we thought it was the lady of the house, and then we thought it was...
The funniest bit of the night for me was at the end, where the detective's doing this really dramatic explanation of what happened. And he points to one of the characters and goes, "You, as the brother-in-law of the deceased." And Lena turns to me and goes, "Oh, does that translate to brother-in-law?" He's a brother-in-law. Oh, yeah. I started taking notes. Too late. Oh, but anyway.
Oh, man, we had fun, though.
I say that. I was not much better. I had no idea what was going on either. But we had fun, and it was a very unusual way to spend... a
couple of hours
in France.
Yeah.
And as a public service announcement, if you're listening to this podcast and you want to do it, only do it if you speak excellent French.
Yeah. Or want to have a good laugh and just, confuse yourself for a couple of hours.
What I'd say is if you do want to do an interactive murder thing, we both did one.
Up in Montmartre?
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, it was
and I did
really
a podcast
good.
episode about it. And
it was
they do
very
it in English,
different.
And you were walking through the streets chasing after the baddies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, you had to shadow them.
That one was called The Live Thriller. We did that one with a few friends of ours, and we all took it very seriously, and it was a lot of fun. That was way back in... If you want to find the podcast episode, it was like April 2019 that we did that. I just looked it up. And that is our story. So let us know if you ever do it. You can't take pictures in there either, by the way.
I know, they took our phones.
Yeah.
And cameras, I suppose.
Well, we tried to sneak it in. It could have been a misunderstanding. They're like, give your phone to the guy at the door, and you put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
And then you're like, can I use my phone to translate things? They're like, why do you have a phone?
I was like, oh, sorry.
There were no phones in 1948. Anyway, guys, that's the story of our experience there. Let us know if you do it.
Yeah.
I
mean, it was really good.
It was fun, super fun. You know what
funny.
it reminds me of? People that go and watch the opera in German.
Yeah.
In Paris.
Yeah.
You don't understand it, but you can appreciate it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or you can sleep.
Yeah.
There were beds in that house.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you could have just,
There are beds in the opera as well.
Oh, yeah.
On the very top at the Palais Garnier.
Yeah.
They're not really beds, but they're like couches in the boxes
Canapes,
at the top.
yeah.
Anyway, before we get into a bit of our news, let's finish this segment on Paris Halloween, because I'm quite convinced that...
you think it's blown up.
You disagree.
Well, not really.
Like we talked about, I think Paris has never gone so hard on Halloween as it is right now. And to paint a picture for you guys at home, there are like pumpkins and cobwebs and bats everywhere, from supermarkets to real estate agents to cafes. Like Bone Shaker Donuts, run by an American friend of the show, Amanda. They're going all in, but they have gone all in for years now.
Yeah.
But it feels like everyone else is joining too.
It's picking up.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. I hadn't really thought about it, and I think maybe it's because we have sort of celebrated it for the past, since we've been here.
You and I, you mean?
Yeah. And we've been to every year we've done the Halloween parties.
We've done some dress-up stuff.
Those were the days.
But there's also the manoir, the sort of haunted house in the 10th arrondissement. Mm-hmm. They're doing the Manoir Halloween Festival at La Villette. They went all in, 300 actors.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
300?
Yeah, imagine that.
Wow.
Imagine how much makeup you'd have to go through. They're all dressed as monsters and stuff.
Amazing.
Anyway, so Paris has gone crazy for Halloween, which is also why I wanted to do an episode of the Fearful Tower. But I think I'm pretty sure it's only going to grow. And if you want to see pictures of all that kind of stuff, check out the Eiffel Tower on Instagram and Facebook, where I share the visuals behind these stories.
It's worth it.
Anyway, enough about Halloween. Are you going to hang around for a little bit of news and emailing at the end?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I think we start with an email. Got a really nice email in that mentions you. Whenever they mention Lina, I tend to read them out to her, except for the horrible ones. But this one's really long, so I'm going to skim through bits.
Okay.
This just arrived yesterday. It's from Georgia Heron.
Hello, Georgia.
And she says, Bonjour, Oliver and Lina.
Hi.
And Coucou Petite Otis.
Oh.
Although she wrote Petite Otis, which is actually correct.
Yes.
Petite would be feminine, wouldn't it?
It would.
You know, I notice when I get long emails like this, I try and guess where they're going to go, because often they're, you guys wouldn't imagine how many emails I get that are press releases for something that's got nothing to do with...
It's like, the new lawnmower is here.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like,
and they write, hi, team. This. But this one I'm already Oliver and Lina and Petit Otis. Okay, Georgia's...
Yeah.
She's
you got in.
But what does she want? I thought. She says, my name is George. I've been meaning to write to you guys for ages. I'm from Brisbane. She wrote 4 A's on that, ages.
Aww.
And then she continues, I'm from Brisbane. So maybe she just meant ages. I'm from Brisbane, but currently living in central France with my partner's family. Our little village is called Néry-le-Bain. Mm-hmm. Néry-le-Bain.
Néry-le-Bain.
Néry-les-Bains. That's nice.
Lovely.
I bet that's one of the ones that the French pronounce really quickly.
Yeah.
Oui, j'habite à Néry-le-Bain.
In one breath.
Néry-le-Bain.
Yeah.
Néry-le-Bain.
Néry-le-Bain.
It's a cute thermal spa town. You should look it up if you get the chance. It's lovely. Mm-hmm. All around the world, people are Googling Néry-le-Bain. I've only started to listen to podcasts this year, she says.
Okay.
Found the earful and have been slowly working my way through the seasons ever since. I'm somewhere in season 5 at the moment, working backwards because that's what my app seems to do. What? Don't go backwards. That'd be really weird. Every episode will end with, next week,
Oh yeah, and you're like, I know.
You can change it in your app really easily so that it's the other way. But if you're that deep down, Georgia, keep going. It says, I'm 6 seasons down. I'm still loving every episode. Just started following your Instagrams too. I love tying in the pics with the stories on the apps. That's just what I said. I'm gobsmacked that people listen to 6 seasons of this podcast before following on Instagram or Facebook. Guys, there is so much that you're missing if you're not following online, like daily life in Paris, basically. I relate to so many of your stories in some way, either from an Aussie and France point of view, little cultural experience, language, laughs, and some things that you muse over that make me think, oh, I know what that is. Side note, I say the je parle français comme une vache australienne thing a lot, and it always goes over so well. Thank you, thank you.
That's a good one.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I won't explain that.
That's
Leave
a
it as
daily
an
standard
in-joke
in
for
this
the people.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I use it all the
Yeah.
time. You two make me laugh so much. You remind me of some of my friends back home whom I miss a little bit. It's pretty cool to tune in and hear an Aussie accent too. Another thing I really like about the podcast is how you say Paris isn't France and France isn't Paris. It's so true. And I feel like so many people think because they've been to Paris, they've done France. As you guys know, there's so much more to France. But I also appreciate the Airfuls of Paris podcast first and foremost, and that's what the listeners love to hear. She gets it.
Yeah, she does.
You know, if you work backwards, do you think the podcast episodes get worse and worse? Because I'm sort of hadn't figured out what I was doing yet.
No.
Here comes, I knew something was coming. I knew there was a request in here somewhere. Having said that, she says, if you ever feel like doing an episode about somewhere out of town, then you should consider Auvergne.
Auvergne?
Do you think she works for the tourism board?
Maybe.
Where
is this going?
I remember
Georgia, where are you taking us?
for just 99 a month.
Yeah.
No, she says, I remember you visited Clermont-Ferrand one time and saw the Puy de Dôme. Remember that? The volcano we climbed?
Yeah.
That was like the day before lockdown in Paris. And if you guys have read my new book that isn't out yet, you'll hear the full story. I was writing it the other day.
Yeah.
Exciting. The Bourbon family, the Bourbon family, are the descendants of the royals. They come from down here. We have towns like Vichy with heaps of history, and also the thermal spa, the Troncé forest for mushroom hunting, and the Red Deer Brame. B-R-A-M-E. Don't know anything about that.
Maybe it's Brame.
Do you think it is Brame?
I don't know.
She says it's a lovely part of France. No one knows about it. Okay, I'll come visit again.
It sounds great.
She says, anyway, I better get back to my reverse binging of more Airful goodness. Look forward to a new episode on Monday, of course. Here it is.
Hello.
Sorry for the long email. I've never been good at telling a short story. Just want to say I appreciate all your amazing work. You guys are just the best. Kind regards.
Oh, that's
Georgia.
so nice.
What a lovely email.
That's so nice.
Thank you, Georgia. And on a serious note, I will. I highly have every intention of doing more episodes around France. We talked about it in depth. I was trying to organize it so I could do one, maybe even a month, like a trip from Paris. But having the baby has put a little bit of a pause on those ideas.
Yeah, we'll see. Soon.
On a less serious note, I hope the tourism board in Auvergne paid you handsomely for that advert.
Yeah, because it was beautiful.
And on a really serious note, for you guys that write in those lovely emails, they are it's like energy for us, because I'm going to say something a little bit negative, just a tiny bit.
Okay.
Sometimes we get really negative comments and private messages and emails that are super silly and unfounded and about silly things, and they're a drain.
Yeah, you got to have a bit of a, thick skin.
You do have to have a bit of a thick skin, and I don't make a big point about it, and I don't share the weird emails and stuff, but they're cleansed out with lovely emails like you, Georgia.
Completely.
So, thank you for that.
Lovely.
We appreciate it immensely.
And now I'm just going to go and Google what a brame is.
Let's finish on some news.
Okay.
Since you were last on the show, Lena, we've been doing some events in Paris.
Yes.
For Roger the Liger.
So exciting.
And we're going to do one on the 6th of November at the Red Wheelbarrow in the morning.
And rumor has it, well, this is my idea.
This is fact.
So this is me spreading the rumor now.
Yeah.
Is that we're going to have a little tea party,
That's
right?
the idea, yeah.
Yeah.
So even if you've been to an event, even if you got the book, or all of our books already, but you want to hang out, have a cup of tea and a homemade cake
Yes.
/ store-bought cake, you never know.
We'll see how it goes.
Come along. Yeah, we're not going to force people to buy our books. We're glad people are there saying hello. I would, in all seriousness, I would be equally as happy if someone came along to the event, bought a different book from Penelope's shop.
Oh yeah, we just want to have a nice crowd.
Exactly.
Sip some tea.
Sip some tea,
Yeah.
eat some nibbles.
Yes.
And I feel like we shouldn't jinx ourselves.
Okay, but
There is potentially, and I say this a lot, but this is true, potentially huge need for our children's books. All I'll say is,
don't jinx it.
if what's been said to me is going to happen, and you guys can figure this out at home if you can, our books, and we'll do an event at
How are you gonna-
one of the most famous places in the world.
Yeah.
How about that?
Okay.
Is that good?
That's good.
One of the most famous places in the world apparently are big fans of our children's books. And
It's very
they
exciting.
want more from us. So
And it's a place that's in the books. It features in the books.
okay, whoa, that's a clue.
No, but
That's
loads
a
of
clue.
places,
Yeah.
places feature in the book.
Have a guess on social media. I'll put a post up about something and you guys can comment on it. And that way we know that you're listening. That's enough babble, isn't it, Lena?
I think so.
You may have noticed that this episode had absolutely no ads. Rather the opposite. I
yeah, we were
encourage
like,
people not to go to the Murder
Please
Mystery.
don't. And don't buy a book.
But
No.
I will, yeah,
Have
whoa.
some tea instead.
I
What?
will say this in all seriousness. The show is brought to you by the very kind and generous Patreon members. Patreon.com/The Earful Tower. It's a new month. Today's the first of the month, which means if you sign up, you get the whole month. I said it before. I said it in my weekly newsletter. If you sign up at the end of the month, that's you're going to get
The
charged
worst time.
twice. It's the worst time to do it. Sign up for a month or for a year. And a shout out to Bernie Duhame, who's a Patreon supporter and who I met for a walk show for Patreon members in the Marais last month. He said to me, he goes, I listened to your podcast for ages. I kept hearing you say Patreon. And he goes, I never signed up because I didn't know what word you were saying. You should spell it. I said, Bernie, I want people to seek it out. I don't want to make it too easy. And you did it and you found it. He goes, well, that's stupid. You missed out on 3 months of my membership. So with that in mind, patreon.com/The Earful Tower. And membership like yours will be the reason that we can take trips around France if you want to hear more from places like Auvergne.
Or buy
Corsica.
tickets to random haunted houses.
It's funny, it's because it's true. At the very start of this podcast, I had a budget of 0. And that is why, as you're going to find out, Georgia, all the early episodes aren't very exciting. Look, that's enough from me. Lena, you started painting again?
Yes, as of yesterday.
Give us the lickety
rundown?
split. Yeah.
Okay, the rundown is that I got out my copper tones, so my orange, my browns, and my yellows, because I wanted to paint an autumnal scene of the Medici fountain in the Luxembourg Gardens in Paris. So this fountain, I don't really know anything about the history of it. Do you?
The fountain?
Yeah.
I know a little bit.
I
but
know that
also
it's
the
been
French-
closed for renovations
Yeah.
for like a good while.
It's that really beautiful fountain that's right in the northeast corner of the Luxembourg Gardens. You've probably seen it. And the French, I learned this week. I learned in the catacombs last week that the French pronounce it Medici. Medici.
Medici.
Medici.
Medici.
Yeah, Rue de Medici.
Rue de Medici.
Yeah, but in Italian, and she was Italian.
Medici.
Yeah, Medici. Medici.
Yeah.
And you painted it.
I did. Yes.
And you did one of the time lapses.
I did a time lapse, and
At
you
Parisian
know,
Postcards is where you can find it.
and I put it up on my Etsy shop.
The Etsy link is complicated, but I made this. theearfultower.com/art.
ART.
Yeah, well, thanks
For you, Bernie.
Oh, it's funny that you say that, because Bernie said to me at
Yeah.
the end of the walk show, he goes, how do I find Lena's art?
Oh,
And I was like, I don't know. So theearfultower.com/art. Go and check out. It's like prints. You're not buying the originals there. Really nice prints. Put it on your wall. That's enough.
That's
Isn't it?
enough.
That's enough.
enough for this Monday.
But on that note, we've definitely gone from the fearful tower to the cheerful tower. And for that, we can only be happy.
Yes.
So, Lina, thank you for joining me, and
Thank you so much for having me.
I'll see you in the kitchen soon.
Yeah, cup of tea.
Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll talk again soon. Merci. Au revoir.
Bye bye.
I don't really know where we are. I just wanna look at the stars.